Oh, he recognizes her.
No time for a reveal like episode 25.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode of Gundam 00. We come back as we normally do with notes, comments, and a board. So let's go ahead and look at that board real quick.
See a lot of dead people.
We come back with the board changelog, and as Lessons is already revealed, to everybody who's not jumping in at this episode already knows, I connected Sergei to Ali with a white line. I connected Lock-On to Daryl with a red line. I marked Daryl as dead. I marked Lock-On as dead. I added Amy and Lock-On's parents, then marked them as dead. I connected Sergei to Katie with a green line. I marked Joyce as dead. I marked Patrick as dead. I marked Lichty as dead. And then I marked Christina as dead.
I think they'd certainly bite the bullet there.
Probably protons. Photons. Protons. No, protons.
Photons would be a laser, and I don't think they're using lasers.
Yeah. It's a high energy beam, but it's not moving at the speed of light. Sorry, I don't have it in my notes anymore, but I tried determining values for the beam that they got hit with based on the element of where were they at, which is some distance away from Earth, but close to the moon, inside the orbit. They weirdly labeled it as Lagrange point, though it's not. The speed of which the beam goes, because it takes 11 seconds for it to be fired and for it to hit the Ptolemos. And then I realized at the end of the day, what does it all matter? It's GN particles. I already know what it's made of.
Yeah, so with that note, let's jump into our notes, starting with mine. Don't have a lot, but here we go. Episode 23, Stop the World, which reminds me of the episode of the same name of Sea Destiny.
It's not the same name.
No, it's the Break the World. It's called the Break the World incident, not the Stop the World, but still kind of remind me of that. I do hate that not heroes, but protagonists of 00 are the ones that are engaging in empty philosophizing while their adversaries seem to be the practical ones. True, spouting philosophical cones in the middle battle is not uniquely a Gundam phenomenon, but it reminds me of the worst moments of Wing.
I don't remember.
The conversation that Setsuna and the other guy are having when it was like, oh, I think that our presence has done something, changed the world, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, we're changing the world. And you're like,
yeah, but these are just passing comments, not the same way that Wing focuses on. Although I will say, since we rewatched Wing, or, I guess technically we did rewatch it. We didn't rewatch it because we watched it before. We individually watched Wing and then watched it together on the channel. My memory of how much, that goes on in Wing was actually much more in my memory than it actually happened in the show.
Yeah.
So now that this is more recent with Gundam 00, it is just like passing commentary. It's not like a whole scene focused on just this.
Yeah, but it still was like, they're talking and they're doing the thing. When I say empty philosophizing, it's like they're talking and it's supposed to sound like, wow, the deep thoughts, right? But it really comes out as deep thoughts with the deep, right? It's like, just say what you're trying to say.
That is what they're trying. I guess I just disagree with you then. Because that was the point of the scene. They're justifying themselves in a moment of, I wouldn't say desperation, but...
crisis?
Yeah, I guess that's a better word. I couldn't think of what I was trying to say. They're in a moment of crisis, self-actualizing themselves. What is our purpose? Why are we putting our lives on the line when everything is so clearly against us? It's a good time to be having this conversation, which is not really even a conversation, just passing thoughts.
Yeah, but
unlike Gundam Wing, which is we're in the middle of a melee, with everything falling down around us. Now it's time for me to shout my mantras at you. Either way, Gundam 00 does it better.
Yes. Overall, yeah.
Just as a heads up, before getting into the rest of the notes, it's been maybe 2 months since we got together to record Gundam 00 together. I hate when I use the same word twice. A lot of stuff has been happening lately that affected our schedules, and we are just now able to get back into it. So, if we forget something we definitely know just one video ago, that'd be the reason why. Thankfully for me, this is Lessons' first go with Gundam 00, and I'm just on the ride with him. So as always, it's mostly for him to guide us through this reaction, and for me not to spoil.
So much to my next note then. Well, at least I put a limiter on the transcend system, so it is not quite the instant win condition that it appeared to be.
Although that's kind of the point of it, is to be an instant win condition.
Yeah, hence the not quite.
Well, my next note is also about the Trans Am. It's the same problem I had back when I originally watched it. Unfortunately, when I said I'm going to give it a fair shake, some of my complaints from before when I was very much more flippant are still the same complaints. The Trans Am system has been entrusted to me, quote, well, I think that's a bit of a stretch of the use of the word entrusted, Setsuna. The system was set up to activate the Trans Am system no matter who was in the Gundam. If someone had stolen it, they would have gotten the Trans Am activation instead. That doesn't feel like being entrusted with it to me. That just feels like happenstance. Sorry, correction. That's not my big problem with Trans Am. That's just a note I had about Setsuna. That was flippancy. I have a future note about my real problem with Trans Am. I just forgot where it is.
So Hallelujah's other personality can block quantum wave effects. I mean, he literally says so. It's like I'm
So I
blocking
guess I'll jump
quantum.
ahead real quick to match you. So Hallelujah could always just block the quantum brain waves this entire time. So this entire plot point of a weakness could literally have been thrown away at a moment's notice. What value has it added to the story if this is what we do with it? Every
I
point
think
of drama and tension
maybe
has been thrown away by the element that it always could have been thrown away.
I think it's a matter of either turning into Hallelujah, right? The dark side of his that personality, or integrating the two of them.
I see where
But
you're
we'll shall
going,
see.
Lessons, but the element is if this was an element of character development, that the two halves were coming closer together, that could have been payoff, but it wasn't. Because Alleluia still comes to the forefront to go crazy on somebody, and then Alleluia still regrets what happens. This isn't an act of character development where, okay, I see what you're trying to your more, I would say, early 2000s anime watcher, Naruto and the nine-tailed fox spirit within him, when they
Yeah.
finally start working together instead of one trying to take control of the other one constantly. That hasn't happened here. This is just suddenly, oh, I can do this thing, by the way. Well, thanks.
I said could. I'm not saying that it did.
I know, I'm just saying that that didn't happen as well. That there's no payoff to this, and it kind of spoils the milk of everything that came before. Not everything. Everything regarding this one specific interaction. You know, it'd be like if Superman suddenly was not weak to kryptonite, and he was like, yeah, I just decided to be weak. I don't know. Like, what?
My next note, then, because you asked for your note with my note with your note. And Al Sachez reveals himself to be truly the rabbit dog he really is. If we didn't know that before.
Shinberg really is just Gundam's Harry Seldon, the psychohistory guy from Foundation, predicting what he'd need some 200 years into the future in order to enact his plan.
Yeah, pretty much has the same vibe to it. And the hidden city and the supercomputers and, well, everything, really.
Hidden City.
Foundation. I don't want to go
I'm
back
not
into
talking
the
about Foundation here. You brought up Hidden City as though it was an element that overlapped with this. What Hidden City is in Gundam 00?
well, not city, but base, the hidden base on the moon, right?
I thought maybe you were talking about their asteroid base.
No, that doesn't fit because Troybrick wasn't there. He wasn't on the moon. And my final note for this episode: Rock On is gone.
Yep, that's why I marked him dead. All right, now here's the thing that I was actually bothered by before and then bothered by again. As I'm going to start the note with. Something that always bothered me, even in the original, which I did with Griffin, is that Ian is the engineer on the ship. He repairs the Gundams, keeps them fully operational. How did he not know about the Trans-Am system? They call it a black box system built into the GN drive, and fair enough that maybe he doesn't know everything about the drives, although I think that's also incorrect based on the manga. But what about the rest of the Gundam? We see them looking at the schematic of the Exia and the particle flow through it while in Trans-Am mode. All the time that he's been keeping the thing maintained, he didn't notice that it had flow regulation to handle 3 times the amount of GN particles that it was being fed. Or if he did, he didn't say anything or do anything regarding it.
Could be useful redundancy. That's the way I would explain it away, but
3 times the redundancy? By the way, guys, this thing can handle 3 times the power output that we're putting into it. just in
or
case it
expecting some
overloads.
kind of upgrade, but not necessarily the transcend system.
That doesn't
right?
make, well, here's the problem is I'm working with the tech manuals situation in this case, in which case I know elements from the prequel mangas. I think they, I will even put this out there. I believe they have said it before in the show that these are like third generation Gundams.
Yeah.
If you're making more Gundams, new generation Gundams, then I don't think you need to leave, the room for upgrade in these. 3 times upgrade, by the way? You built a 3 times upgrade into it? Or the room for a 3 times upgrade?
I mean, that's my explanation to it. I don't know if it.
Well, it doesn't fit because Ian also expresses that he didn't know.
Yeah, that's the part that. Well, on to episode 24, Endless Poem. Like Destiny, I don't know why I put like other Destiny. I don't know why I put that other there. Like Destiny, this show highlights the old adage that hurt people, or at least try.
It actually does the opposite. Well,
I think
I
that's the whole
don't know.
thing
It
with
kind of
Lock-On,
does
right?
both, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Ali hurts Setsuna.
Or Lock-On.
Setsuna hurts Lock-On. Lock-On doesn't hurt Setsuna.
Or goes after Ali because he blames him for
And
being
somewhere in
there.
the mix, Tiara points a gun at Setsuna too. Tiara's hurt by somebody, threatens to hurt Setsuna, doesn't hurt Setsuna. So you get both. You get hurt people hurting people and hurt people not hurting people.
Then
while
there's
also hurting people.
The this guy, I forgot. I should have him on the screen. Daryl, who also essentially tried to kill one of the Gundams because he was hurt because he lost his wingman
Also,
in
it's his
an earlier
job.
battle. True, but he became obsessed with it. Like, you killed this. I forgot the name of the guy. Doesn't matter.
I mean, yeah, on one hand, I understand what you're saying. He is on a mission of vengeance. But on the other hand, it is also his job. So it's not,
So,
he's a hurt person
But
hurting other people, but he's also a hurt person who's getting paid to hurt other people anyway.
but to the point that he becomes suicidal, right? That's the.
Well, I don't think he's suicidal. I think he was doing his attack the best he could, and then it just happened to kill him, like everybody else. At some point, you have to acknowledge the fact that they're just not as good. Well, I don't know if he's not as good. He's just not in a suit that's as good as their suit. Because conceivably, he's in fact, they're 3 times better than him right now. Well, I attempted to count every destroyed mobile suit in the battle to try and keep the numbers in alignment. 26 suits were deployed initially, and at the end I counted 13 as being destroyed and 3 damaged. However, when Alleluia watches them retreat, there are only 11 shown, so either I double counted one that was destroyed, or there was a mistake in the visuals. And then feature note, correction, despite them only detecting 26 on approach, Sergey later says, out of 27 machines, meaning that 1 extra makes my figure correct. I was doing the same thing that we did during Macross 7. You remember when we did a whole fight scene on the ice planet, and I was like counting how many fighters blew up?
Yeah. Oh, great. A golden mobile armor, and it has 6 pseudo GN drives. This is going to turn out well.
I mean, it's a season finale.
Well,
Did they destroy it, Lessons?
No. So
then it's in the season finale. It'd be real weird if we did a Evangelion. Now we're in Setsuna's mind, and everyone's telling him what a good boy he is.
Yeah.
Such a strange back and forth between Lock-On and Ali Alcetches. Lock-On calls Ali a terrorist. Ali justifies his actions. Ali calls Lock-On a terrorist. Lock-On accepts that, but only after he defeats Ali. So, cool, you're both terrorists in different ways. Glad we got that off our chests, but it really feels like a lot of blustering, considering that nothing really comes of it. Despite what Lock-On said, he still doesn't really come to grips with about that aspect of himself and what he does before he sacrifices himself. And, of course, Ali already fully acknowledges who he is. It's really just background to the fight.
Well, I think it's a different take because Ali does it for the love of, for money and for the love of the game. Yeah, and the bloodlust. And
like I said, Ali acknowledges who he is. Lock-On says, yeah, that might be true, but I'll kill you first. He didn't really ever come to grips with the fact that he is also a terrorist.
Lock-On believes that he has a higher calling, whether that is true
all
or
terrorists
not.
do. Terrorism goes hand in hand with fanaticism.
And that he's avenging his family, right? So, in Lock-On's mind,
all you're saying is he has a cause.
He has a cause. Well,
All terrorists have cause. That's what I'm saying. There's
Ali's
really
just
no
money.
difference other than the fact that Ali enjoys what he does.
My next note. Come to think of it, this is the first time we ever talk about our past. Oh, oh dear.
No, people
Oh
talk about their
boy.
past all the time. That's how we know
Yeah,
the
no, but
whole on the beach
that's
thing with
literally what
Setsuna.
one of
And
the characters says. Oh, this is the first time we actually talk about our past. Like, well, we didn't talk about it because it was secret and all that.
to be fair, not everyone who said it was in that conversation died.
Yeah, but still.
Lock-On gave a Spike Spiegel on his way out, like the cool motherfucker that he was.
Yeah. I actually like Lock On. And I think that's why they killed him. He was a likable one.
I think I've already said that Patrick is my favorite. Didn't I mark Patrick as dead? Pretty sure. Yeah, I marked
Yes.
Patrick as dead. So I don't remember I said it on the board changelog. Patrick, and Saji? Patrick and Saji would be my top two. I don't think I have a favorite combatant. I guess Ali is my favorite combatant.
My next point. Well, Corner wasn't fucking around.
I mean, he was for most of the show.
Not anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, he said he wasn't fucking around, past tense. No, I think for 23 episodes he was fucking around. I guess 21 episodes he was fucking around.
He was like, I'm here. He didn't give a speech or anything. Like, oh, fuck it. I'm going to just blow them out of space. But, if I got a gun, I'm going to use it. Fuck you. You're not nobody tell me what to do.
I mean, you get the super machine. You're going to use the super machine.
Yeah, but usually you get, I'm here. No, press the button, fire the thing.
This isn't Gundam Wing.
Yeah.
I wonder which side the world will lean toward, the United Nations or theirs. Well, Lume, let me answer that for you. Only one of those two options represents the world.
Yeah, that's true. From a legalistic perspective, yeah.
I would also argue the side that the majority of people are with.
Remember, yeah.
There's an entire military-industrial complex working towards defeating you, which is hundreds, thousands of people, millions even conceivably. If you believe the taxpayers are voting for this and, paying their taxes, versus how many people of Celestial Being have we seen? Just on the power of democracy alone, you're on the side that's not winning the vote.
Yeah. One old rich guy that was in a coffin.
Well, I just mean all the people that, work in the background of Celestial Being that
but basically it boils down to one person if you think about it. It's,
Well, I mean, even if you included all of Lume's spy network or information gathering network or anything, that's still less than the amount of people working for the United Nations. It's in the name,
and all the observers as well. But
I believe that's just what you call the information network.
No, remember that Corner goes into the thing with the pillar with all the masks. I think it is, and all those people were there. I don't know how many there were.
Not retracting my statement, Lessons.
Huh?
Not retracting my statement.
Okay.
I believe observers are the information network still.
My next note is pretty short. Bye-bye, Patrick.
Still saying, he's my favorite. Would have been drawn as him, except for the element that there's nothing about him as a character art perspective that would make me look like anybody else. Or I'm different from anyone else. If I would have to get my hair drawn as red. But this is barely hair. It's also a choice, in case anyone's wondering. I have to cut it to this. Otherwise it becomes a hat head constantly. It's funny that Christine mentions her mom on the colonies, as earlier when Sumeragi was talking to Tierra, there was a map on the screen of the Lagrange points and their position, but no colonies listed as being at any of them. Would have been a good place to give us that information.
My next point. So Litchi was a cyborg and Christina was hit in the back.
Yes.
We don't see her in the front, and then when it's as a metal protruding from her back.
I've seen this death twice now. Well, I guess 3 times. I've seen this death 3 times now. Lessons.
Yeah.
Well, my last note. Some good last minute saving our friends moment. Christina lying to get Felt off the bridge, though I assumed she meant to send her to the Gundam as an escape pod sort of situation. Lock-On's Gundam remains.
Yeah.
But it worked out. And Lichty's last-minute dive to shield Christina, the girl he's been in love with this entire time. Sure, it didn't make a difference, but at least she expressed how she finally felt. I still can't get over the fact that Lichty was a secret Terminator the whole time. Lichty and Christina were the secret Luis and Sanji we didn't know we had.
And they didn't know they had. Because, he kept blowing him off.
Well, Lichty knew.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Like,
they didn't.
he was the one openly expressing his affection.
Affection.
She's
Yeah.
the one who
She
said,
was,
I didn't know I had a guy in front of me the whole time, with his dying breath. No, you didn't.
Yeah, and
He pulled a Han
she
Solo there at the very end.
she was blowing him off all the time. Well, you're not not directly, but it's like, oh, you're not my type.
I think
my
when you
type
say
of
you're not
guy.
my type, that's directly lessons.
Yeah.
You're taking some of these rejections pretty easy, I feel like, if you're saying that's not a direct.
Yeah. She's like, oh, now that I'm dying, oh shit, I love you too.
She said to the corpse.
Literally. Yeah. And then she vomited blood just like you did.
I will say, to be fair, he is red-eyed in fade like all the other Terminators do.
Yeah.
This is how I would abridge series this, by the way. I know we're laughing at a very sad, tragic death and everything, but just, if I was a bridge series this, I would just highlight like a red eye, like all Terminators die.
My second to last note. This is a bloody, brutal way to shake up the status quo. Not that this show ever settled into any such situation. It also reminds me in a strange way of another show that I'm watching on my own channel, Twitch, Lessons Learned 1, Metal Armor Dragonar, which is much lighter, right? It's not as harsh, but I don't want to spoil it if you want to catch up on Patreon. Also Lessons Learned. Because there's like, oh yeah, no, everybody's having fun, whatever, and all of a sudden something very brutal happens. You're like, well, shit, that's a reminder that this is another show where there's a war, right? And it's like, doesn't necessarily happen directly to the main characters, of course, but you're reminded that the other side, they are bad guys, and the bad guys are perfectly willing to murder or destroy, at will, right?
Work for the
Like,
Vikings.
comparing this to this, compared to this, like, this is far more brutal than that. But even in a show we're supposed to be lighter and softer, you still get the situation. You go like, well, shit, that happened,
Good shill.
Yeah.
So that's why I was laughing. It was like, well, there's the only way this could get you more of a shill if you plugged his Patreon right now. It was like your next step.
Yeah. I mean, Metal Armor Dragonar, the bad guys who have a giant railgun pointed at the earth, or mass driver pointed at the earth. So, yeah.
So did a recent episode of Justice League that I watched, Vandal Savage.
Yeah. And my last note. I doubt Corner dies in the next episode, and I doubt that Al Sachez is completely out of the fight.
Sorry, I just forgot. Wasn't he out of the fight?
Well, when I mean out of the fight, I mean out of the series completely. He's his Gundam that he had at one of the thrones was damaged, but we don't see him. We don't see him dead or the blood or anything like that. We just see the Gundam floating away. And then Sergei say, "Oh yeah, the Gundam we captured." Which I should have made a note about that whole conversation. So, hey, how you capture that? I'm not gonna tell you. Fuck off, basically. Trade secret. Like, I don't have to tell you, asshole.
I mean, it's not like a big deal.
Well, they've been trying to
he
capture
shot a guy in the
Gundams
face and got into his Gundam. It's not like it was a masterful operation.
Yeah, I know. But from Sergei's perspective, it's like, we've been trying to capture a Gundam for about 20 episodes or so, and you just walk in with one of them. Like,
I mean, it's like not very complicated. I think I did the same thing in a Lancer campaign when we were doing tabletop. It just, it's an expectation that you're going to fight these things mobile suit to mobile suit. It's like, no, I'm just sneaking to their camp while they're like having mess or something. I shoot one in the face, and I make a break for his suit, and then I'm going to fight their suits with their suits while I have my own real Lancer thing in the background in case I need to.
Yeah.
I kept trying to make characters that could fight like mobile suits on foot. I was trying to get us to do the Master Asia approach. Oh yeah, we get a rocket launcher. And like the unexpected approach of, I want to play in a mobile suit game, but I'm going to be an assassin who slits throats.
Yeah. And those were my notes.
All right, well, moving into comments. GN00 Razor, I'm assuming your name is a mobile suit title from the episode Trinity. So a point of clarification, the Ptolemos doesn't have any GN drives / solar reactors. It's shown in an earlier episode 3, I think, that they need to recharge the ship's store of GN particles using a Gundam. The ship just has a large amount of storage for the particles, and the cones at the back of the ship are thrusters for releasing the particles. Really like the reactions, keep it up.
You?
Good insight lessons. Glad you're here.
That was it?
No, I got more. I was just waiting for you to weigh in on anything, but that's all you said. Okay. All right, next up from Top Quotes 2415 from Broken Wings. Been loving these. Keep up the great work. I actually was in the middle of writing a really detailed long response for one of the last Gundam 00 episodes you did, but my browser refreshed and I rage quit. In that comment, I wanted to address two things, but I guess I'll try again. Wish me luck. I think it's kind of just dead answer. I'm joking.
Good luck. You're gonna need it.
Firstly, where are you guys getting the idea that Gundam 00 is based on Gundam Wing? I've heard it repeatedly through this reaction, and I'm not sure where it's coming from. I watched Gundam 00 maybe 5 or 6 times, even during its original run back in 2007, and I've never heard of this. Even as I do research now, I don't find any material available that verifies this. I know people like to compare the two series a lot, but they are their own distinct thing. If anything, Yusuke Kuroda and the writers claim the show was inspired by the real-life geopolitical conflicts / social climate related to the War on Terror happening years prior to Gundam 00's release. Secondly, I wanted to point something out related to the depth and characters. It can be easy to question their motives, and we should, but we have to remember that this isn't a story with good guys. It's a story about how conflict arises due to clashing belief systems. Everyone in this story thinks they are the good guys, except Ali Al-Seshaz, maybe. But even then, he has his own worldview he may have adopted due to the circumstances that shaped him. All he knows is war and violence. He's either mentally ill or nihilistic, or both perhaps. Or perhaps radicalized as a result of his extreme trauma. Data brilliantly pointed to during the discussion. Incredible catch. He's an extreme case, but the examples show up frequently. When we look at any of these characters, they are deeply flawed. They don't make perfect decisions. They aren't supposed to. They are at times fueled by ideology, beliefs, patterns, or behavior, traumas, constraints, and full of contradictions and poor reasoning, just like real-life human beings. Even the members of Celestial Being. I could be mistaken, but sometimes it feels like the characters are being compared to the standard good guy archetype. I believe when they are being compared to a standard they were never meant to represent, it can take away from some of the depth of the story and the characters have to show us. I'll say it like this. Even within the different military factions, there are conflicting beliefs, and sometimes characters go against what they ought to do when it competes with their internal values. Without spoiling anything for lessons, this can be seen in Sergei Smirnov. How many times, even up until this point, has he put his military obligations aside to protect people? Even setting his own beliefs aside to assist Alleluia during the accident that occurred during Luis and Saji's space trip. Also, what was Alleluia's reasoning when he thinks let's get rid of those super soldier facilities? What was his reasoning driven by? I don't think it was meant to be logical. It could have been fueled by trauma, coping, a history of using violence to solve problems, or a hidden desire to cause harm. These are a few examples, but it's seen in all the characters. Some are more practical than others, some reason better than others, some are more or less consistent with their values than others, some are more emotional, and some are more incoherent with where they stand. We get to see all of it, and the system / world the characters have to operate under. There is so much of this in all the life systems. Community, family, corporations, politics, and military. They are flawed systems being held together by flawed people for flawed ends, and Gundam 00 doesn't hide that. That being said, Celestial Being aren't protagonists in your traditional sense. After all, how could they be with values they hold? The caricature, we view them through matters. Keep up the great work, guys. Seriously, love to hear what both of you have to say, and can't express how happy I am to see Theta revisit this. P.S. Pay attention to Princess Marina. Her role may appear small, but she is arguably the most important character philosophically in the entire series, and I'm not sure she ever gets the flowers she deserves.
Well, I think that's why I, in my first note in the note section, I said I do hate that not heroes but protagonists, because clearly they don't fit the heroic mold per se. Although one could also argue that the show, by being centered on them mostly, kind of tries to sympathize with them to the point that's like, yeah, they might be flawed, but they are the more correct of all the parties, right? Because then we're introduced to the thrones, and the thrones have a scenario. And like I said many a moon ago, oh yeah, by the way, these new characters show up, they're crazier, and we have an explicit scene where one of them just kills a bunch of people out of nowhere because she thinks that they're laughing at her. Like, oh, how dare you be happy kind of scenario, right? So I said then you're doing an old trope where you, in order to set your protagonist to be better, you don't actually make them better, like they improve and have character arcs and all that. You set up another group of characters in contrast, which are supposed to be worse. Like, well, they're not like that. Whatever that they've been done, they're not like that. So, right. So there's some tendencies there. So even yes, the word protagonist would be the accurate word to use, not heroes in the modern sense. Um, I still believe that the show has a tendency to have us sympathize with them uh, than with other characters.
Did I explicitly say before that the characters lacked depth? Because it does sound like something I would say.
You have expressed that before.
I know in the original watch through, I've expressed that around Setsuna, but I guess I didn't give. Well, there's an element here that I think I heard recently in a video reviewing why the One Piece manga is worth reading, and that's an argument against Luffy, which was to say that his character doesn't develop. Oh shit! Now I can't remember it's development versus being developed. I feel like the argument here. Not sorry. This isn't specifically this argument, but it's specifically an argument I would have against Setsuna. Setsuna doesn't have much in the way of character development, at least so far. He is a developed character, though. We know Setsuna's backstory, we know why he's motivated by those backstory elements, and when the situations arise, we know how he reacts to them. He is a developed character. He is well enough developed that I could say that you and I could guess in any situation that we could hypothetical put him into how he would react. Yeah, he's well developed enough that we could do that. Versus, say a number of other characters in the show that we don't know anything about. What would Ribbons do if you met Ollie, right? No fucking idea. Where at the same time, there's no real character development. Except for maybe like the one or two times he's run into Marina, right? In which case, though, is there any real development happening there? The choice is like when I kept arguing about Setsuna interrupts a conversation happening on the beach and just says what's already happening. There's no change to how he's already acting. The circumstances around him don't cause him to question his beliefs. The depth that this note is saying that a bunch of characters have, not arguing with that. It's fair enough. It's a good point. But Setsuna does not have that depth at the moment, I feel like. His worldview gets challenged, and he continues on with the worldview he already has. I'm not saying that you always have to change your worldviews every time you get challenged. I'm just saying that this is a narrative, and if we're going to challenge your worldviews, there should be some sort of something, right?
Some acknowledgement, some pushback.
Well, I mean, at the very least, come up with a new argument to say why you're still correct. If I'm correct because of X, and your worldview gets challenged, then it really didn't get challenged if X is still the same answer to that thing. So it should be some sort of new nuance. Well, it's actually X plus Y is actually why I'm still correct, or why I feel like my view is still the way it should be. But then again, I'm not going to blame anything here for that not being the case. It's still the same as every Gundam before it. In which case, if Rao from Gundam Seed, he has a whole nihilistic view of, the world was cruel to me for making me this way, so I'm going to be cruel to the world. His worldview never gets challenged because villains don't tend to have their worldviews challenged. They're maniacal about getting the thing accomplished.
Oh, one of the things about villains is that the tragedy of the villain is that they rarely have ever changed, right? Except to get worse, right? Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though, is that's character development. Villains don't tend to have character development unless they become reoccurring, in which case they tend to turn into anti-heroes. Vegeta, for example.
They become either have a redemption arc of some sort, or they just double or triple down on what they are,
And I think for the most part, most of this note is, sure, I can see that in reflection on what's going, but there's not a lot going on in the show that makes me think that on its own, right? Like, characters with their beliefs and flaws and everything like that, there's not a lot that they act upon, unless they're the big things, like the super soldier facility getting destroyed. And there's not a lot of internal monologue on that. It just goes in, hears some children, and then hallelujah laughing in the background as they destroy the whole fucking thing. There's no after report, or, you know, this is what I know. Also, the element that you wouldn't want a whole like 5-minute diatribe of this is what I did and this is why I felt why I did was right and blah 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 blah. I just don't get a lot of read in though when I'm staring at the guy going crazy's face.
Let's get Young Winslow's comments. Kelly Winslow, 1988, From the Dawn of Determination. Still have to disagree with Theta. Saji and Luis are not the great characters. They're not great characters, and she's incredibly annoying in an episode like this. If it wasn't for the second season, I wouldn't care about them in any way. They get better, thank goodness. But it's also because I'm not a fan of slice of life animes in any way. In fact, looking at my entire collection, the only show I have that like that at all would be the Gainax shows. His and Her Circumstances from '98, but that is mostly due to Anno and his weird take on that genre.
I believe His and Her Circumstances might be on the recommendation list on the website.
I would disagree, because I think I do agree with Theta. Seiji and Luis are great characters. They do serve a very important purpose, which is the man-woman on the street view of the scenario, right? Because we have all these characters and these politicians talking about, changing the world, and, we have our interest in politics and all that. Having characters like Saji and Luis, like they're college students who see the violence up front, right? They see that there's a terrorist attack. They become victims of the character's actions, right? Their position is very important, and I think they're very likable. And I can understand. I mean, it reminds me of all going all the way back to Super Dimension Fortress Macross. My first take on Minmay was that she was kind of meant to be this way, right? To annoy some people, but also was like that she's the annoying little brat girl that doesn't get what's going on. But when we watched it, I changed my mind completely on Minmay, because I realized that she was a civilian who had her dreams. She was a younger teenager who had her dreams about her life and wanted to be a star, but also want to get married. Very typical stuff. And she's the one that sees her entire world turn upside down and inside out, thrust into being a symbol for an entire war effort and for the reconstruction. And she's forced to grow up very quickly, even though she doesn't really understand what's going on. She's trying to put the best face on everything. And at the very end, she says, if I'm going to do this, I have to do this for myself and not just for anyone else, right? And so her actions based on that had a lot of meaning. In fact, that final scene, in spite of how much we talked about and criticized the follow-up to episode 36, the destruction of, well, what happens in episode 36, I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't watched.
Right, so you said final scene.
Yeah.
So there can't be a follow-up, it's the final scene.
Yeah. Was very touching to me, in no small part because of that realization. And I think that's what's happening with Saji and particularly Luis, right? Luis, she's like, oh, she's a rich girl who, just went to this university, liked this boy. They're trying to get him to, move on with his life. Like, hey, you want to be an engineer? Maybe we're going to get married, hey, stop living in this sort of momentary thing. You got to think about the future and all that with me in it. And Saji is like, yeah, but I got to work and I have to, my sister and my university, right? He's so caught up in his own little bubble, right? To a degree. And
I don't know why you included his sister. He didn't do anything with his sister.
And when he realizes what he almost lost, when Luis gets severely wounded, that changes him completely. Right? He's like, fuck, right? This is what's happening is far bigger than I am, and I have to try to do something about it. What he's going to do about it, we'll see in season 2. But
I mean, he's already doing it. He's rooting on the news for them to lose.
But I'm not talking about that. That's just talking about what he's going to do about it. He's not rooting for somebody to lose. Not really do anything other than.
Oh, I have a whole lot of sports fans that'll disagree with you. They go through whole routines. I was wearing that hat that day. I didn't wash my underwear that day.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think Saji is going to do. He has literally no connections to anything.
So I think Kelly Winslow, in this one, I would have to disagree.
It's funny because I've been getting a lot of all the Gundam opening reactions in my feed. I watched some of them, and when you get to the Gundam 00 opening, everyone thinks poorly of Luis. Because in the opening, she tags Saji, grabs him by the arm, and literally throws him to the ground, and then extends a hand to help him up, and then, Like, who is she? She's a bitch. Because that's all you get from her in the opening.
Ah, the hand. That's interesting. That's interesting foreshadow, but yeah, foreshadowing.
I don't know if it's that hand. I didn't think about that, even when I just brought it up now.
Cool.
Anyway, that was the notes, the comments on the board. Nothing left to do but to hop into the ultimate episode of Season 1 and see how it all wraps up.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
忌々しいイオリア・シュヘンベルグの亡霊どもめ。この私アレハンドロ・コーナーが貴様らを新世界への手向けにしてやろう。そうだ。
Oh, of course. It's golden, so it's also immune to energy weapons.
Well, it's a GN field.
No, but he hit he punched through the field and hit the
コンテナを狙え。うまくいけばあの腕ぐらい吹っ飛ばせる。了解。
Nope.
Target remains, sir. Target remains.
その程度でアルバトーレに対抗しようなど。
The Albator. Where did he get that though?
What do you mean,
Get it
already
from
get
the
it?
moon or
I'm going to say
From
the
the
United
moon?
Nations.
yeah?
I'm going to say this before we get to the end. I think I remembered basically a lot of Season 1.
Hmm.
I barely remember anything from Season 2.
Oh.
I think in my flippancy, Season 2 is basically where I checked out.
So we talk about Tierra, and now we
This
know
one.
that they're. Oh yeah, he pushes him on the ground.
Is that the hand
and-
she lost? Right hand?
Yeah, the right hand.
Well,
So
that
is
would
Tierra
be
also
clever
a
if
cyborg?
intentional. I can't say that
Yeah.
was probably intentional, though.
Oh.
You were asking a question, Lessons.
Yeah, that because we're wondering who Tierra really is. So he
Tierra.
could be a cyborg. Yeah.
You mean what?
Remember that he can connect. He used to be able to connect directly to.
I'm saying you mean what? We're not questioning who they are.
That they're a cyborg.
I said what? You're saying we're
what?
questioning what they are, not who they are.
Yeah.
Who they are would be if Lock-On wasn't his name and he had a different other name. Who is
Oh, who
Lock-On?
they-
What is Tierra is like what is Lichty,
Yeah.
and he's a Terminator.
Yeah.
I can't believe how many opening credits arguments we've had, which were just semantics.
ベルト、マイスターたちの状況を教えて。ナドレは大破。ティエリアからの応答なし。
なんだと。
キュリオス、機体損傷台。敵モビルスーツ2機と交戦中。みんな。
羽付きは衛星のどこかに隠れている。あの機体状況では遠くには逃げられまい。
That's such a bad description.
しくじったぜ。
They're all technically winged ones. I know his transforms into a jet-looking thing, but
何もできないてめえには用はねえ。俺は生きる。他人の生き血をすすってでもな。僕も生きる。何？僕はまだ世界の答えを聞いていない。この戦いの。
they're fighting you.
それを知るまで僕は死ねない。
Every time you've gone down to the planet, you fought the world.
その気になりやがったが。ならあの女に見せつけてやろうぜ。本物の長兵ってやつをな。
Slickback means evil.
Yeah.
I mean, this is clearly a delusion, though. Haven't heard the world's answer yet. How many times does the whole world have to rise up against you before they're not that into you? Yeah, Trans Am mode, still missing a bunch of parts.
Yeah.
And y'all are losing.
Oh, bits too, huh?
あの武器はスロームと同じ。セスナ、ドッキングで。了解。
In the middle of a firefight?
Thank God you shot that one bit. The other ones won't attack you.
GN アーマーなど。ファング。
Thank
He's
God,
pretty
like
confident.
most Maha Shoujo, I let you transform with no problem. Had a slight problem shooting them when he was just using his own arms, but now he's using these giant reach things that it's such a hard time turning. Shoots them all perfectly. No, our base was there.
よくぞ避けた。しかし。
Oh, he's pretty arrogant.
セスナ。バカの一つ覚えとは。何？
Yeah, he was expecting that.
黙れ。まだまだ。もう一撃。
Oh, he's gonna die too.
俺たちの存在を。だって。貴様。
I mean, it's got to be the most successful mobile armor we've ever seen in all of Gundam. I say, even though it's like clearly losing right now, it is the most successful on taking on the hero team than any other mobile armor has ever been. Even Lala's.
Yeah. Wow. Playing fucking asteroids.
なぜだ。私は完璧な長兵のはずだ。
分かってねえな女。
何？
おめえは完璧な長兵なんかじゃねえ。能量支波で得た超反射能力だがてめえはその速度域に思考が追いついてねえんだよ。動物みてえに本能で動いてるだけだ。
そんなこと。
Or for Goku.
だから動きも読まれる。反射と思考の融合、それこそが長兵のあるべき姿だ。
あの輝きは。
Okay.
のやつか。
ゴーゴー。
ちょい。
That's one way to get killed.
I mean, not much you can do at this point if he's in Trans Am mode.
Yeah.
さよならだ女。
And yep.
今だ。ピーです。
Sucks to suck.
チェサ。チェサ。
Getting defeated in Trans Am mode. That's a good way to get chopped in half.
している。私に構うな。戦い勝利。
できません。中佐がいなくなったら、私は一人になってしまう。
Okay.
I mean, they've been together like the whole fucking show so far.
Oh, so he lost an eye too. Oh, he recognizes her.
No time for reveal, like episode 25.
Yeah.
Season
Oh,
finale.
he's alive. Corner is alive. Yeah. Oh, great.
Again, it might legit be the best mobile armor. In that it's also a mobile suit. Legitimately, his plan is fucking unknowable. So, legit, this could all be part of his plan too. Probably Trans-Ammed out of there.
Yeah.
It's been a while since the last time he used it. Although to be fair, couldn't blame him for thinking he just atomized him. Also fair. Bastard who died 200 years ago.
No, he could have been alive. But he did shoot him in the head.
There's no telling if he was alive in there or not. Could have been a space coffin for all we know.
Oh, he has to drop the shield in order to...
Which makes no sense. The Alvatore can shoot through its shield.
Maybe, well, remember
Melee
that
combat.
it had six GN generators. This one probably only has one. Probably can't do both.
Doesn't make any sense. Multiple of the Gundams have GN shields and fire through them. And
also,
only
when he
have
fired
one.
his main weapon, he had to drop the shield as well.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, Lessons.
Power generation.
Doesn't make sense, Lessons.
You keep saying it doesn't make sense. It
doesn't make sense because I already explained why it didn't make sense. You ignored my fact, I'm ignoring your fact. Sorry, my next sentence is dumb. Arguably, you could have just stabbed him through the cockpit, and that would have solved this too.
Oh, he did.
Okay, yeah. Well, technically, no. He just got to reverse Christine.
Oh.
これはイオリア・シュヘンベルグの計画ではなく、僕の計画になっていたのさ。リボンズ様。統一された世界の行く末は僕に任せてもらうよ。貴様、コーナー一族の悲願を。そういう物言いだから器量が小さいのさ。リボンズ。
Shit, that's where I put the self-destruct button.
Yeah.
Like I said, great time for reveals. The last episode of the season. Well, now the main fight's over. Time for me to get my thing in.
Yeah, get his shot in.
Like I said, would never get drawn as Graham Acre.
あの時の少年か。やはり私と君は運命の
Yeah, I think you've pretty much suspected that it was him back then, too.
Yeah.
戦う運命にあった。ようやく理解した。君の圧倒的な性能に私は心を奪われた。この気
Oh,
持ち
stole my heart?
まさしく愛だ。愛だが愛を超越すればそれは憎しみとなる。
To be fair, it's a good tactic to say confusing shit at your enemy.
Yeah.
Good fight, good fight. Remember, Graham's whole story has been building to this moment.
Yeah.
No, Setsuna,
And
that's you! Fucking you!
Oh, everybody's been doing that. Not him. Not just him.
I know, because these people still represent the world. Armed interventions are literally hypocrisy.
No, he didn't. Oh, he survived. Oh, did he?
I know, it's a
I
half and half
suspect he did.
explosion.
Yeah. That's Tierra.
Yeah, I was wearing purple.
Doesn't it mean that someone else might capture it?
No, because he detected the ship on approach. The Blarney Stone. Spoilers?
お前はもう戦えねえ。死ぬだけだ。まあいいさ。どっちみち同じだ。先に行ってるぜ。ハレルヤ。まさか。そんな。ハレルヤ。
Oh, the death of personality there? Oh, how convenient.
マリナ、イスマイール。
Haven't heard her in a
あな
while.
たがこれを読んでいるとき、俺はもうこの世には武力による戦争の根絶、ソレスタルビーイングが戦うことしかできない俺に
That's a pretty small
戦
string.
う意味を教えてくれた。あの時のガンダムのように。
Yeah, the one back in episode 1.
なぜ
Still haven't explained yet.
世界はこうも歪んでいるのか。
I don't know what you're talking about.
どこから来てい
You
るのか。
literally do. You brought it up before.
なぜ人には無意識の悪意というものがあるのか。なぜその悪意に気づこうとしないのか。なぜ人生すら狂わせる存在があるのか。なぜ人は支配し支配されるのか。なぜ傷つけ合うのか。なのになぜ人はこうも生きようとするのか。俺は
Some good
求めてい
questions.
た。
It's good framing for it, too. It's a letter I left behind before the fight
答え
started.
てくれると考えた。
I like doing it in the middle of the fight.
同じものを求めるあなたなら 人と人が分かり合える道を、その答えを。俺は求め続けていたんだ。ガンダムと共に。ガンダムと共に。
Pretty good episode overall.
ルイス、
AD20
久しぶりにメールを出します。
the
君
next
から
year.
返事が来なくなって、もう2年が経ちました。
Yeah, and finally they broke up.
どうしても伝えたいことがあったから、
No, she told him to move on without him,
僕、
and that she'd meet up with him
今年か
later
ら宇宙で働くことになったん
in
だ。
the future.
悲しいことがたくさんあったけど、でも小さな夢を一つだけ叶えたよ。だからもう一つの夢を叶えさせてほしい。待ってるよ、ルイス。
See, like I said, she said I'd meet you in space later at some point.
あれは
あれは GN 粒子の光か？どこの機体だ？
あれは連邦のものじゃない。
Oh, the Federation?
ああ、確かに。
So I guess GN particles have become, after 4 years?
ガンダム。
And the cliffhanger for the next season. There's still a Gundam out there. Oh, holographic device now.
Yeah. Yeah, this very much feels like a prequel series to the original series, right?
Single military.
Yeah. The Air Spirit Federation, right?
全ての国の軍がなくなり、我が平和維持軍が世界唯一の軍隊となったとき、世界は真の統一を果たすことになるでしょう。
I guess we went with the Union uniform.
我々は邁進していく所存です。
Ah, you saw who was in that crowd, didn't you?
Yeah, Sergey.
Patrick. Patrick's alive. Gordon's alive.
Oh, she left?
Yes, just now.
イノベーター、人類の未来が。
Oh, I remember that porn shoot.
Okay. Oh, he's without a job, I guess.
That's what's a cliffhanger. It's just, this is what next season's gonna be like.
Yeah.
It's also like Lord of the Rings. You keep thinking it's over.
状況はいかがですか？
1機目はロールアウトした。今は実戦に向けてのテストに出払ってる。
他の機体は？
予定通り順次ロールアウトする予定だ。
よかったら見せてくださらない？第一世代の機体を。
What crazy spacesuits, by the way.
Literally, not the mid-season upgrade, but season 2 upgrades, right?
これがオーガンダム。初めて太陽炉を積んで稼働した機体。
太陽炉は取り外してすでに機体に装着してある。だがこいつを使ってもマッチしない。
It looks like the RX-71, you know.
Not really.
太陽炉でもうまくいくかどうか。
世界を変える機体。WO ガンダム。
The world's already been changed. How is the new one going to change the world? Like, we've gotten rid of all the nations. We formed a federation with one military. Yeah. That one's going to change the world. Again. For reals this time.
Technically speaking, they accomplished their mission that there's no more fighting, I guess.
Yes, but now they're going to come back and do more fighting.
Yeah, that sounds
Rid ourselves into a corner, I feel.
Yeah. They were willing to go there. I give that credit to the writers, right? It's like, yeah, no, we're gonna have a 4-year jump, and we're gonna have a united world. Again, I think this originally was meant to be a prequel to the to 79, because it kind of feels that way, right?
No, Sorry, you said right as though you wanted me to agree with you, and I had to vehemently disagree. No, it does not feel like a prequel to 79. We watched the prequel to 79 called The Origin.
No, but how the Federation, the Earth Sphere Federation was created, or just called the Earth Federation. The colonies and all that. Like they changed a lot, of course, with the solar rays and the solar wars, but this feels like
the solar ray and the solar wars are not comparable things you can just spew at me and I'm going to let that ride. The solar wars were an entire series of wars over the whole thing. You know what that's about. The solar ray was a weapon. That's not two things.
Solar arrays and the towers I'm talking about, not the solar ray from 79.
You said solar ray, and then just like real quick, the solar ray and the solar war. No,
but I wasn't referring to that. I was referring to the whole power system of the world. Clearly, they change a lot.
Yeah, like the fact there's no like circular energy system in 79.
I know that, but that's what I'm trying to say. That it still feels that at some points this was a prequel to 79.
No. At no point does this feel like a prequel to 79. How about the fact that there's also more advanced technology? You imagine going back in 79 and going from, we had these like 6 Gundams that are better than anything that's ever been seen before. Or all the technology on this planet, which is, by the way, better than the technology in 79. No part of this, other than the fact that there's an Earth sphere, whatever. They shared some words, and that was it. You might as well say this is the prequel to Legend of the Galactic Heroes Federation. They both have Federation in the name, why not? Hell, the calendar doesn't even line up.
No, because they're using... remember there was a change. Yeah, but
remember that I've read some of the manga for Universal Century. I know Minovsky's backstory, and that includes some years of Anno Domini. So the years don't even line up. Also, the fact that we know the multiverse timeline of Gundam by everything lines up with Turn A. That this is considered an alternate timeline.
Yeah, obviously, because Anno Domini. But I don't know. It's I still have that. It gets me that the vibe to me. So I'm going to stick with that.
Write your fan fiction if you want.
I think this is pretty much fan fiction of that, and then go turn into something
It's not
else.
fan fiction. It's its own timeline.
But it started as something else. It started as fan fiction and then became something else.
Okay, you're just inviting more commentary. The same comment that said, "Where are you getting that this is based on Gundam Wing?" Now you're inviting those people to come back. What the fuck do you mean this is based on fan fiction? You're doing a real disservice because even the commenter mentioned the writer's name.
I have to do some research.
Yes, do your research about was this originally a fan fiction?
No, whether or not this was supposed to be a prequel to 79. Well, yeah, they went there. They were willing to change the status quo yet again in a massive way. Now, GN particles are standard technology that everybody uses. You have a unified world. Yet somehow the Gundams are going to be back. There's a connection between Alleluia and Marie. Apparently, they knew each other when they were younger, right? But what's the connection? We don't know, other than they were part of the same genetic program. Corner, turns out the Ribbons was the one behind Corner and used them to get control of the world. And now Corner is part of like a 7-man group. Are they clones or something? I don't know.
Corner is part of a 7-man group?
I mean, Ribbons.
I would also argue that Ribbons wasn't behind Corner.
Hey, literally told him, like, you were a useful jester, now I'm going to take over. So,
yeah. Corner was his own thing, and Ribbons was writing that.
Yeah.
Which means that Corner was behind Ribbons? But Corner wasn't front. The whole line doesn't make any sense.
Corner was following the designs of the Corner family.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Corner was doing his own thing, and Ribbons was just there. Ribbons wasn't behind Corner, because Ribbons wasn't orchestrating anything.
And then Ribbons joins Corner, and Corner thinks, oh, this guy's very useful. And it turns out that that cut both ways. He was very useful for what Ribbons wanted to do. And now Ribbons is apparently the power behind the throne.
Right. I'm just disputing that Ribbons wasn't behind Corner. That's all.
No. And we have a return of the Exia, but we also got shown the original Gundam of this series, like the 01. But yeah, Kaji graduated, now became a space engineer. Good for him. And Alias touches his Sans job, I guess. That's why he's drinking himself. Like, I can't kill people. I guess he can go to corner, ambush people in the
I
alleys.
didn't get enough good read on that scene to be able to tell if that was him or not.
Yeah, it was him.
Lessons, like that never. If I say I'm unsure of X, and you say no, that's that. Does that ever work?
It would work when I put it on my notes, if I remember.
It doesn't matter, Lessons. Sorry, going into the rock. It doesn't matter what you think. And going to the point is that we're both going to rewatch, and by the time I rewatch, I'm like, oh yeah, that was him. The only thing that's going to change that is you get into an argument with me now and make me not want to believe it is.
Okay.
Half of these arguments come from the element of you say a thing, and I want to give the other side some sort of argument. Devil's advocate.
Okay. Oh yeah, that was everything. Well, mostly everything. Question is, what happens next? And that's for season 2. The next 25 episodes of Gundam 00.
All right. Well, with all that said, nothing left to do but to say that I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?